Almost Famous with John Shea. Featuring local and independent musicians from the South Shore, Boston, and New England. On 95.9 WATD.
Welcome to the Tiny Stage Hour of Almost Famous on 95.9 WATD. Introducing you to independent bands and musicians from across New England. Brought to you by Tiny & Sons Glass. My name is John Shea. First things first, if you're a local musician with original music and you'd like to hear it on the radio, get in contact with me. Find all the information at 959watd.com and follow us tonight on Facebook and Instagram at Almost Famous Radio. So tonight on the Tiny Stage, being joined by singer-songwriter Meghan Lynch. How you doing?
I'm doing so well. Thanks so much for having me.
My pleasure. I'm glad we could finally make this work.
I know.
For those who don't know you already, introduce yourself.
All right. Well, my name is Meghan Lynch, and I am a pop singer-songwriter currently based just south of Boston.
Very cool. So how long has music been in your life?
Ooh, okay. So I actually started kind of the whole music scene doing musicals growing up. So I did musicals pretty much from middle school through college, and then switched over to the songwriting side later in college, and then pretty much have been playing since then all around New England. And then I lived in Nashville for a little bit. So basically playing all the spots from coffee shops, bars, fairs, you name it.
Really cool. Now you also have a new single that recently dropped. Talk about that.
Yeah, so my new single is called Rare. That just came out a couple of weeks ago, and this one I wrote with another female songwriter, Yuping Zhu. We actually were paired up by NSAI, the Nashville Songwriting Association International. They thought that we would be a great fit to write together. And they definitely proved so correctly. It was so fun writing with her. And so this one was basically about, for me personally, I feel like there are some people that I've known my whole life, but I feel like I can't necessarily still be like 100% myself or feel comfortable telling them my life story. And then there are other people that I've met just once or for one day or an afternoon that it was just their presence in personality that you just feel so comfortable and warm with. And I feel that those people, they're not even trying. It's just essentially them being themselves that make them just such a special person. And so I wanted to write a song capturing those rare and special people that you just feel incredible being around.
Now you mentioned Yuping. She has been here before on the Tiny Stage. Did you know her before you started writing with her?
No, I had done a member meeting with NSAI, and they kind of asked me which artists I like and what style of writing I gear towards. And so they paired us up. We have still to this day never met in person. We've only been virtually writing together over Zoom. So definitely looking forward to the day when we can meet up in person. But yeah, so far, no, not yet.
Really cool. Well, hopefully that happens soon, because I'd love to see what other collaborations come from your partnership.
Definitely.
Well, let's start off with a song. What are we kicking off the night with?
Yeah, so we're going to start off my single, Rare.
All right, we have Meghan Lynch on the Tiny Stage right here on 95.9 WATD. It's all yours.
6 a.m. I caught your eye on a Boston-bound flight. Looks like we're leaving LA in morning light. Struck up a conversation by the baggage claim. Felt like a long-lost friend once I heard your name. Talking through December, this
Meghan Lynch on the tiny stage tonight, 95.9 WATD. Now, you mentioned that was a co-write with Yuping Zhu, who was on the tiny stage not that long ago. Elaborate more on that partnership and take us through how everything kind of worked between the two of you putting that song together.
Yeah, so I had already come up with that idea for the song, and I kind of went to her with like a rough chorus and just like a bunch of notes. And I always like to have co-writers come on and help me puzzle piece things together. And so it's really funny because I'm a total sucker for the sad love songs. And so when we were writing this and we had finished, it was such a quick write. I think we did it like within an hour and a half, and we finished it off, and we were both like, oh, we're really digging this. We really like this song. And it just essentially, after we had finished and been listening it over, I had said to her, I'm thinking about recording this as my next single, which she was obviously super excited about.
Oh, and before I forget, you've got a guest in studio tonight accompanying you on guitar. Give him an introduction if you would.
Absolutely. So accompanying me is the very talented Norwood, and he has been my guitarist off and on for a couple of years now. It's super special being able to play with him again. Before I moved to Nashville, I think our last show together was playing at Indian Ranch on one of their local country fests, and so that was a super fun show we did together. But it's so great being back in the area and getting to connect again.
So you've been all around the world, basically. Talk about your journey through music.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I was totally the classic musical theater girl growing up. So pretty much did it from middle school through college. And then during that time, I had finished my theater minor, and I had a mid-college crisis and was like, I need to add more creative things into my life. And so I added on a music minor. So my senior year of college, I was with the freshmen taking like musical theory classes, and I had made the case because I was interested in being a singer-songwriter that typically for the minor you'd be choosing, you can only do vocals or you can only pick an instrument. And I made the case that a singer-songwriter needs both, and so they let me split my lessons. And so that was kind of the beginning, and I ended up choosing piano because I had a little bit of background doing it when I was growing up as a child. And my piano teacher at school, Ariel, was so incredible because she really had listened to me when we had just started, and she knew that I was interested in being a singer-songwriter. And so instead of tailoring our lessons to all of the really textbook piano stuff, we would essentially, by the end of my semester, we were spending 75% of the time working on putting music to lyrics I had written, and she would kind of walk me through the process of how you go about writing music to a song. And then the rest of the time would be tailored to more of the textbook exercises, but in my senior recital, like I was able to just perform original songs that I had written. And from that point, after graduating, I kind of threw myself into the songwriting scene. I'm not sure if they do it anymore, but there used to be a Martha's Vineyard Songwriting Festival, which I did 2 different years, and it was basically a weekend workshop where they would bring professional songwriters from Nashville to teach over the weekend, and it's all the hit songwriters who literally write the hit songs on the radio. So you're able to have this intimate setting of maybe like 40 or 50 people max, and just spending time with these writers, asking them questions and kind of learning their tricks of the trade. And from that point, I had considered moving to Nashville, so a little later down the line, after doing all the gigs throughout New England, I knew a lot of the people who had attended the workshop lived in Nashville. So I made the move down there, and then really got involved with NSAI, which I definitely credit a lot to my songwriting journey.
Let's do another song, and then I want to dive more into songwriting. What are we listening to next?
Absolutely. So this is a solo write that I did recently, and it's called Throwback. pretty much the story behind the song for that one is whenever you think of a throwback song, it doesn't really matter how many years it's been. When you hear it come on, you immediately know all the words to it and recall all the details from that song, and you just like blast it in your car and you know all the words. And so I kind of wanted to relate to relationship and kind of like it doesn't necessarily matter how many years have passed. If something pops up like a memory, you still know their favorite movie or their birthday. And so for this song, I was kind of piecing together my favorite moments from people and relating it to a throwback track.
Really cool. Let's hear it. We have Meghan Lynch on the tiny stage, 95.9 WATD. It's all yours.
Like that hit back in the late 90s. You're the lyrics to my favorite song. I remember everything about you, no matter how many years have come and gone. Don't know why you just crossed my mind. When was the last time I saw your face? I knew it the second you were out of sight. You wouldn't be someone time could erase. 'Cause every now and then I remember when you had your classic leather jacket, Central Park covered in snow. All those catch me off guard kisses feel like ages ago, when every day was the best day ever. We grab a train and take it wherever. You might be a name from the past, but you're my favorite throwback. I don't know where you are or what you're doing, and if Rome is still your favorite place to be. I know that years ago it used to be lying next to me. 'Cause every now and then I remember when you had your classic leather jacket, Central Park covered in snow. All those catch me off guard kisses feel like ages ago, when every day was the best day ever. We grab a train and take it wherever. You might be a name from the past, but you're my favorite throwback. We were magic for a moment, but the past is in the past. Doesn't mean I won't smile when I'm looking back to your classic leather jacket, Central Park covered in snow. All those catch me off guard kisses feel like ages ago, when every day was the best day ever. We grab a train and take it wherever. You might be a name from the past, but you're my favorite throwback. Classic leather jacket, Central Park covered in snow. All those catch me off guard kisses feel like ages ago, when every day was the best day ever. We grab a train and take it wherever. You might be a name from the past, but you're my favorite throwback.
Meghan Lynch on the tiny stage tonight, 95.9 WATD. This is Almost Famous. Now, you mentioned that song you just played was a solo write. You opened the night with a co-write. Explain to us, in your eyes, the difference between the two and what's easiest for you.
Yeah, so it's really funny. Like nowadays, I'm writing on a weekly basis. And so when I was first starting out a couple of years ago, technically me writing by myself, one song could take me months and months. And so nowadays, from just doing it so much, I am able to write songs relatively quickly by myself, and it might only take a couple of hours. And so I feel writing for myself, it can go both ways. Sometimes it's easier because I'm just channeling all of the emotions or thoughts that I have inside my head. And so it's kind of like I'm just playing with my own mind. And so I'm able to just say whatever I want, and it comes out really naturally. And then other times, if I have an idea, I might get to a point where I have a lot of lyrics written in like a rough melody, but I still want someone else to hop in and piece it together for me, make sure that it's being understood in the way that I'm trying to translate it. And when I write, so one smart thing to do when you're writing is, so I love writing lyrics. I love the detail-oriented storyteller aspect of it. And then I play a little bit of piano myself. So because I can sing, a lot of times when I'm writing lyrics, I'm able to sing melodies. But whenever I'm writing with someone, I always feel it's important to bring someone on who isn't just a lyricist, but it's someone who is very strong in the instrumental department. So anytime that I'm writing now with other people, I'm always making sure that they are a really strong pianist or a guitarist, and that way it comes a lot more naturally in writes where we're just creating as we go. And so once we finish writing a song together, where it's in person or on Zoom, we have that final track of the vocals and the instrumentals with it all together. Whereas if I'm writing by myself, I'm writing all the lyrics first and singing over it, basically a cappella, and then after the fact I go to piano and then add the piano instrumental after I've written.
Love that. That's Meghan Lynch. She's on the tiny stage tonight on 95.9 WATD. We're up against our first break of this hour. We have a lot more music to share and more to talk about as well. Right here on Almost Famous, 95.9 WATD. Stick around.
And now, back to Almost Famous on 95.9 WATD.
Welcome back to the tiny stage hour of Almost Famous 95.9 WATD. Introducing you to independent bands and musicians from across New England, brought to you by Tiny & Sons Glass. Follow along on Facebook and Instagram tonight at Almost Famous Radio. Subscribe to our podcast at almostfamousradio.com. And we are on the tiny stage this hour with Meghan Lynch. How you doing?
I'm doing so great. Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. Before we get too much further, share your website and any social media links.
Yes, so it'll all be the same. You can find me on all social media platforms, and it's going to be at Meghan Lynch Music. I know there's a million ways to spell Meghan, so it's Meghan. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, all that good stuff.
Fantastic. So first of all, introduce your guest.
Yes, so I have my amazing guitarist Norwood accompanying me today.
Excellent. And for those who may have missed the first part of the show, introduce yourself again.
Yeah, so my name is Meghan Lynch. I'm a pop singer-songwriter currently based just south of Boston.
And I was doing some research about you online. We've been friends on Facebook for a couple of years, but
I know.
I was researching your music and your career, and I noticed you wear many hats.
Definitely.
And the one that caught my attention the most is Wilderness First Responder. What is that?
So I feel like I personally have three different sides to me. One of them being in college, I was a wilderness instructor. So I led trips for various wilderness sports. In the fall, it was hiking, backpacking, rock climbing. And then in the winter, it was ice climbing, snowshoeing, and mountaineering. So to make sure that I was guiding properly and had all of the best first aid training, I did a wilderness first responder course with the school in solo medicine. So I'm a total outdoor enthusiast. And I know that we had reconnected when you saw that I was at one of the local rock climbing gyms just close by to your studio.
Exactly, yeah.
I know.
So you've got some new music out there and more new music on the way. Talk about, first of all, what is available and then what's coming up.
Absolutely. So Rare is my latest single that is currently out. You can stream it on all of the digital platforms, Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. And that is the first track off of my upcoming EP. And then within a couple of months, another single will be released. And I kind of have switched up my sound a little bit, and I'm more into the pop singer-songwriter track right now. I found that a lot of my favorite instruments or songs that I listen to, they always have a really strong piano emphasis on them. So the songs that have been released so far and will be released, it still captures the storyteller aspect of lyrical writing for me, but I've added more of the pop sounds and have the heavy piano influence in them.
Let's hear some more music. What are we listening to next?
Absolutely. So we have another song that I wrote recently virtually with a new co-writer of mine, Andy, and he is actually in California. For anyone who is interested in songwriting, typically the two main camps that I recommend is NSAI, and if you also want to get more involved in pop writing, there is the LA Songwriting Collective, and so that has been really great writing with people in LA and California within the past couple of months. So again, I have never met Andy in person, but he really had similar artist styles to me, where we love Louis Capaldi and Rabel. And so we wrote this song together, and it is called One of Them.
All right. Meghan Lynch, 95.9 WATD. Let's hear it.
Bus stop, kiss goodbye, one-way ticket, one-way drive. Guess you didn't feel it like I did. Maybe in another life, different story, different times, wouldn't be how it has to end. Some may have 1,000 others may have none. Soulmates that you dream of finding back when you were young. The chance encounter lover, or the slow burn worth the wait, or the lonely stretches in between when you're questioning your fate. 'Cause looking back on what we had when all is said and done, I know that you were one. Hard to stick with someone new, and part of me is stuck with you, even after years and miles apart. But checking all the boxes, leaving cute text responses, but no one else has brought a single spark. Some may have 1,000 others may have none. Soulmates that you dream of finding back when you were young. The chance encounter lover, or the slow burn worth the wait, or the lonely stretches in between when you're questioning your fate. Looking back on what we had when all is said and done, I know that you were one. Our history, linger in a
Meghan Lynch on the tiny stage on 95.9 WATD. Nice job.
Thank you so much.
Let's talk about influences for a moment here. Who are you listening to nationally and how about locally too?
Okay, so a lot of my influences most recently, it's going to be Lewis Capaldi, Rabel, Jake Scott, J.C. Stewart, Macy Peters. All of them have just incredible songwriting. Their voices are super emotive, and they really tailor to those piano vibes. So they've been my favorite so far. And then locally, obviously, I'm going to give a shout out to my co-writer for Rare, Yu Ping. She is local to Massachusetts, and so I've definitely been playing a lot of her.
So if you could pick one song that you wish you had written, what would it be?
That's such a hard question. I think I'm going to go with Someone You Loved by Lewis Capaldi. I'm just obsessed with all of his tracks, and I think he just does an absolutely incredible job with all of his music. So I'm going to go with that one because every song that he releases is complete fire. I actually met him a couple of years ago. He had just come out with his EP. And so the world had just been introduced to him, and it was really funny because when we first saw him, I went to the show with my sister at Great Scott.
Oh, wow. That's a classic venue.
Yeah, classic venue. And it was so funny because when we saw him, it might have been like us and maybe like 30 to 40 people, like totally small show. After the fact, he like got to hang out with us and just chat. And then fast forward a couple years later, and then he was playing a different show in Boston, which had sold out 2,000 people. So it's crazy just to see how fast his career has taken off and just essentially had global domination with his music.
As your songwriting skills evolve, how has that affected your influences? Have they evolved too?
Yeah, so I would say growing up, I had like around the house when I was little, I would be listening to my mom's CDs of Shania Twain and Faith Hill. And so I would say when I had first started songwriting, a lot of my influences were more on the pop country side because I have always been really drawn to those storytelling lyrics. And so during that time, I would say I was totally all about Kelsey Ballerini, Maren Morris, Taylor Swift. I was definitely listening to Taylor Swift growing up and obviously till now because it was just one of those situations where you're looking at someone who's essentially the same age as you playing Gillette Stadium completely sold out, and you're watching their success and their like amazing songwriting lyrics. They're singers, they're an artist, they're doing it all as the whole package. And so I wanted to kind of capture that and keep the details and the storytelling aspect of country music that I had really enjoyed, and then just kind of switch it up with more of the instruments and beats entering into more of the pop singer-songwriter route.
How about a guilty pleasure song that when you get in the car, nobody else is there with you, you pull it up on your Spotify playlist, and you don't tell anybody that you listen to it, but you rock out to it?
So I have no shame about this one. I'll say two. One, I'm, again, like I said, still a musical theater nerd to the core, so I have the album to Dear Evan Hansen. I probably listened to that Broadway musical an unhealthy amount. And then I would also say I'm a huge fan of The Greatest Showman movie, so anytime I want to like play an anthem, the song This Is Me that they play during that movie is my ultimate jam.
And if you could pick one song to wipe off the planet Earth, never to be heard again, what would that be?
Oh man, that's so hard. I'm trying to think.
Your most hated song of all time.
Oh gosh. I'm trying to think of ones I don't really listen to. I would say, I don't even know if this is technically a song, but more of the Baby Shark song.
Okay.
It gets stuck in your head so much. And I volunteer with musicians on call. right now it's all virtually. So it's essentially I am a virtual performer, and then it gets streamed to various pediatric hospitals throughout the U.S., and I do it once a month. And so that can sometimes be a requested song. So it's more in my head all of the time. So I'll say that one.
That's Meghan Lynch. She's in studio tonight on the tiny stage. I'm John Shea. This is Almost Famous. What are we listening to next?
Yeah, so next up we have Don't Compare, and I co-wrote this one with another girl, Caitlin, when I had first moved to Nashville. And essentially the story behind this song is when you're starting to see other people or you're getting back in the dating scene, but you're still thinking about someone else. So you're kind of going through the motions, and the people that you're meeting, you're just like, oh, they're not doing anything wrong. Like, they're saying all the right things, but they're still not this other person. And so that was kind of the theme for writing this song, and it's called Don't Compare.
All right, Meghan Lynch, 95.9 WATD, it's all yours.
The clock says 4:35, guess I shouldn't be late. I go and grab my keys so he won't have to wait. Still want to make a good impression, what do I have to lose? But he's not the one I choose. 'Cause you made perfect look easy on those long April nights, and you made it unfair to all these other guys. I swear I'm trying when I need someone new, but they just don't compare to you. I really should hate you for setting the bar so high. I end the night with others with just a friendly hug goodbye. I look at the pictures of us saved on my phone and start my drive alone. 'Cause you made perfect look easy on those long April nights, and you made it unfair to all these other guys. I swear I'm trying when I need someone new, but they just don't compare to you. He's thinking it's the start of something. Wish I felt more than nothing. 'Cause you made perfect look easy on those long April nights, and you made it unfair to all these other guys. I swear I'm trying when I need someone new, but they just don't compare to you. No, they just don't compare to you.
Meghan Lynch, 95.9 WATD, nice job on that one.
Thank you so much.
When you're writing, whether it's a co-write or writing solo, do you tend to write from personal experience?
I do. I'm always taking ideas from my personal life, whether it's something that happened to me directly or it happened to someone else. So I say most of the time I'm channeling stuff from my own perspective. I feel it can be a lot harder putting yourself into someone else's shoes. But yeah, and a lot of times my co-writers, I'm always joking to them of saying like, welcome to my mind, because when we start or write, usually beforehand, I'm sending them a Google Doc, and it's just a bunch of different notes and essentially thoughts I've had for this song, so they can just see a window into my soul.
Do you have any songs that you've written that are too personal to share?
No, I always feel that those are the best ones. Like I said, I'm always gravitating towards the storyteller lyrics, and so I like to bring people essentially into my world and perspective, and I feel that the songs that are always my personal favorites are the ones that artists or songwriters have left nothing unsaid, and when you listen to them, you essentially feel that they wrote this song with you in mind. So I think definitely over the past couple of years, being more into songwriting and the craft of it, I have gotten a lot better looking at lyrics and saying to myself, like, oh, you're still sugarcoating it, or like, how can we strip this back more? And so, yeah, I'll be honest, sometimes when I'm singing songs that I've written in the past, sometimes they're almost like too fresh for me. And I'll be like singing it and performing it, and people clap and they say that they enjoy it at the end, and inside I'm like, ow. Because I'm like being so emotive during the songs. But no, those are always my favorite ones to sing.
We talked earlier about your outdoor activities, but you also do work in photography too. Talk to us about that.
I do. So I like to joke to people that I write love songs at Meghan Lynch music, and then I capture love stories at Meghan Lynch photography. So I have been a wedding photographer for, I think this is coming up on my 6th season. So I'm a total hopeless romantic. So I absolutely love infusing love stories and couples madly in love in all aspects of my life.
No, I do have to ask, and I'm sure you've been asked this before too, but what's your best bridezilla story?
Oh man, so I don't necessarily have one of those, but I have a craziest wedding story in general.
Sure.
This was in Nashville, and so it was at one of the venues where you could have the ceremony inside and then flip it to create the reception space. And so like the team would come in and they'd be taking out the chairs and the whole ceremony setup, and while all the bride and groom and guests were at the cocktail hour, that room would be empty and people would be putting in all of the decorations and tables for the reception. And so I was a photographer for this wedding, and so ceremony had happened. Everyone is at the cocktail hour in another space with the other photographer who was there, and so we were hanging back in that reception room, and so the whole team is coming to quickly flip the space. And all of a sudden, so there's a bunch of workers in, they're bringing in like couches and tables and sofas, and they're cleaning things, and there was one of the workers. I didn't see it happen. I just like heard the aftermath. And so he had been cleaning a glass table, but he pressed on it too hard and his arm went straight through the table. And so like I heard commotion. I just turn around and I see him where the venue was. It had like open doors leading to the road. So I'm just looking at someone and they just have blood all over their arm. They're like waiting outside for someone to pick them up to bring them to the hospital. And so while this is happening, it's probably only like 5 minutes until all the people are going to be coming in. They have no idea that this has happened because when we looked around the room, there was like blood, trickles everywhere. It was so bad. And so people are just like rushing to the floors to like clean up where the blood was. And then when people had started trickling in, like no one said anything that this had taken place. Everything was cleaned up, but it wasn't me, but someone else had noticed that there was some blood that was on the side of one of the like buffet tables, and the event planners picked it up and turned it around so you couldn't see the backside, everything just went as normal. And no one knew
insane.
Anything. So that was the craziest thing that has ever happened to me or that I've witnessed at a wedding.
Yikes. That is Meghan Lynch, wilderness first responder, photographer, musician, chatting with us tonight here on WATD. Let's do another song. What's next on your list tonight?
Absolutely. So this next one is actually going to be my second single that'll be coming out off of my EP. And this was another solo write of mine. And I just kind of wanted to create a super empowering pop ballad for anyone that's in a relationship or gotten out of a relationship, but kind of like remembering their worth and value and knowing that you deserve a lot better than what you're getting. So this will be the next single coming off of my EP, and it's called Just Don't.
All right, Meghan Lynch, 95.9 WATD, it's all yours.
San Francisco feels like another life compared to how many tears have fallen tonight. You made a mistake when you set me free. Now you're back saying you love me, but you don't get to hurt me like this anymore. Decide when you will stay, then walk out the door. 'Cause I've spent a month picking up pieces and you left me the worst kind of speechless. You're telling me things will be different, but I know they won't. So if you're thinking about showing up, just don't. I'm sure you'll be gone again just as fast as you left. You've said so many things I wish I could forget. I know what to believe these days, but I can't hope this is just some phase. But you don't get to hurt me like this anymore. Decide when you will stay, then walk out the door. 'Cause I've spent a month picking up pieces and you've left me the worst kind of speechless. You're telling me things will be different, but I know they won't. So if you're thinking about showing up, just don't. I hate that you did all you did, and I hate that I care. But to say you love someone and leave just isn't fair. You'll forever be someone I'm gonna miss, but I know I deserve so much better than this. But you don't get to hurt me like this anymore. Decide when you will stay, then walk out the door. 'Cause I've spent a month picking up pieces and you left me the worst kind of speechless. You're telling me things will be different, but I know they won't. So if you're thinking about showing up, just don't.
Very cool, Meghan Lynch on the tiny stage, 95.9 WATD. Nice job.
Thank you so much.
We are up against our final break of the night. We have one more song to share and a little bit more to talk about as well. So stick around right here on 95.9 WATD.
And now, back to Almost Famous on 95.9 WATD.
For the final time this evening, welcome back to the Tiny Stage Hour of Almost Famous 95.9 WATD. I'm John Shea, introducing you to independent bands and musicians from across New England, brought to you by Tiny & Sons Glass. I'm John Shea. Tonight we're being joined on the Tiny Stage by Meghan Lynch. How you doing?
I'm doing so good. Thanks for having us.
My pleasure, anytime. So you said us, so introduce your guitar player.
Yes.
Who do we have in studio?
We've got Norwood, who is accompanying me on guitar tonight.
Awesome. And share with us again your website and any social media links.
Absolutely. So you can find me everywhere at Meghan Lynch Music. It's spelled MEGHAN, but literally on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. And then I currently have my latest single, Rare, out on Spotify. So that's available on all streaming platforms.
Awesome. And a new EP in the works.
Yeah, that'll be coming down the line. I have another single that'll be released within a couple of months, but it'll depend when my next trip to Nashville will be, because that's where my producer is that created those two tracks. So once I get back down there, we'll put more of the finishing touches on it.
Fantastic. Sounds amazing. Can't wait to hear it. So what are we closing off the night with?
We are going to be finishing up with my song called Party Girl. This one is just super fun. I had written it a couple of years ago, and essentially was a night that I did not plan on going out whatsoever, but changed my mind last minute, and it just ended up being a super fun night out dancing. So this one is called Party Girl, and wherever you are, I hope when you listen to it, you can be dancing around.
Sounds great. Meghan Lynch, thank you so much. Get home safely. We'll talk to you soon, and best of luck with the new releases.
Thank you so much.
Going to a bar was the last thing on my brain, but when I saw you, my mind suddenly changed. And it's no surprise with your blue eyes, I couldn't say no to that face. Now we're standing close as you take my hand and the music cuts the bass. I'm not a party girl, but give me another twirl as I watch all of my cares fade away. I know it's getting late, but just let the music play, 'cause there's nothing else I'd rather do. So hold me close, 'cause I only wanna dance with you. Whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, oh, oh. You're playing my song, so hey boy, that's our cue. As we're sitting on stools having drinks at bar number 2, and I'm by your side trying to hide that I'm falling way too fast. When you pull me close as you take my hand and the music starts to blast. I'm not a party girl, but give me another twirl as I watch all of my cares fade away. I know it's getting late, but just let the music play, 'cause there's nothing else I'd rather do. So hold me close, 'cause I only wanna dance with you. Whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, oh, oh. I'm hoping this could be something more as you're pulling me across the dance floor. Head back laughing, having the time of my life. I'm wishing we had more than this one night. I'm not a party girl, but give me another twirl as I watch all of my cares fade away. I know it's getting late, but just let the music play, 'cause there's nothing else I'd rather do. So hold me close, 'cause I only wanna dance with you. Whoa,